out here in front of the Mexican Consulate, and let's talk about what I'm seeing at the international border of Mexico. I cross in both border crossings, the most busy border crossing in the world in San Ysidro and in Otay. That's about 30 minutes, 20 minutes east of there. So this is what I'm seeing at the border. Not only when you go into Mexico, you see this big billboard and has a big MAGA hat on it, and you think, holy shit, somebody had the cojones to put a MAGA hat in Mexico, but it actually says make sex great again. But it was very clever because everybody, I'm sure, is looking at that, wanting to tear it down until they read it. So what I see in particular going into Mexico, I've seen videos and reports of people, their long lines getting into Mexico because now the walkers are required to give their like a visitor's visa for the day, which if you drive for the day, they don't stop and check you for that. But here is what I'm gonna tell you is what I'm seeing coming back across the border, because things changed. And I'm gonna say two things. Number one, when you're crossing the border from the orphanage home, that's where I'm going, but crossing it anywhere going back to the US, what I've seen the major difference are two things. Is one, now the military in Mexico, they have checkpoints going back into the United States, and that never used to be there. So from President Trump's mandates of demanding that all of the drugs, especially fentanyl, stops, well, now that pressure apparently has gone to the Mexico side of the border, because now I'm telling you, almost every car is being inspected by the Mexican military. And they have different branches, the Marines, the federal, and the local municipalities, military that's separate from the police. And so I'm seeing them inspect every single vehicle, and not just questioning people in question, but I'm seeing them open up trunks, taking stuff out. So really inspecting vehicles thoroughly going into the United States checkpoint, which once again, they have the border specialist at the booth asking questions in the car, and they direct people to the other part of the inspection, the advanced section. And number two, this is what I've been noticing, especially in the last couple of weeks, crossing both borders and going back in the United States. So keep in mind, I'm going to the orphanage homes of different parts of the city. And a lot of times they're on the outskirts of the city, because that's where, hate to say it, but the poor neighborhoods where the properties are more affordable to house orphanages or orphan children. So what I'm noticing going back into the border lines now are a lot, not only busier, but the main roads going to the border lines are busier. It's kind of like beast mode now. It was beast mode before, and sure, you try to do your best Mexican driving skills to cut in through you can, because they're ruthless, everybody at the border. If you thought road rage was real in whatever big city you live in, oh my God, when you get to the border down there, people are intense. And I'm talking about going back into the US or crossing in, but they'll get this close to your car, and even though you maybe had to make an adjustment to where you were driving, they're like, oh, excuse me, oh, come on in. I do that to people. I'm always like, yeah, come on in. Even if somebody's trying to cheat the system and cut on in, I say, come on, you deserve it. But it's intense down there. So what I started doing is, especially most of the time, I'm in East TJ, right up in the hills there. And I'll take the road all the way back to the San Ysidro border, because even though it's a long line, you can get in line, and the line goes for a long way back. So once you're in line, it just kind of cruises at whatever speed until you hit the border. But in the Otay border now, it's so packed along the main road and turning. Okay, let me describe it this way, going across the border. So if you're going, let's say, east to west, okay, and you have to turn right onto the borderline, that is so packed now for lights and lights and lights going down. All lanes kind of stopped traffic. So now if you're coming west to east, you have to turn left onto the borderline. They close that off for whatever brilliant reason the Mexican government decided to do that. So now all those people have to come back down around and make a U-turn. And so what I think the reason why that's happening, because I don't know, to tell you the truth, because it's a Century Global entry line. So it's not like they have checkpoints where they're checking vehicles. So it's very interesting. So I'm already noticing the last couple weeks how things are shifting down there. And I did get pulled over and got like a ticket for just going into the borderline. It was something ridiculous. It was a trap. But I'm noticing the pressures now are mounting south of the border, going north of the border. Something to be aware of, right? I myself has super courage to keep charging down there because I let my love and respect lead the way. But it only goes so far. Yo soy americano. I'm an American. And that carries with it plenty of benefits, and now maybe some not so benefits. But I'll keep you updated, because the children in the orphanage homes are worth it every time, because I stay safe. That's why I don't go out. I'm a beer, I'm gonna hang out, have some tacos. I get right up to the orphanage home and then I go back and I repeat that, because I want to minimize the risk that I have so I can have longevity helping the kids. So if you thought this video was helpful, you want to press like, subscribe, send it to a friend. Us at the Orphanage Mentor, we do everything we can for those kids south of the border, because they deserve the exact great opportunities that we have here. Love you all.